Welcome back. This is Wealth Principle 1, Think a Million. We've been traveling through the 52 weeks to wealth for the last 53 weeks, which means at the end of 52, we have to start back over. Hands to the camera if you're excited to be a full part of this entire process this year. Many of you came in at different elements, different points. And so this is your chance to be a part of the entire year of the 52 weeks to wealth. Now, for somebody who is new, the 52 wealth principles were not random. These are wealth principles that were discovered through all the different books and all the different trainings and all the different philosophies that I had experienced. I've read over 300 books on success, wealth building, personal development, and real estate and business. And what I discovered was that every time I read a book, that book was worth one principle. There was about one principle that the entire book was built around. In fact, my business partner is the first one to have highlighted this concept to me. Let's give Ron Bowling a round of applause, a multimillionaire himself, and very thankful to have him in my business sharing this with us. And so what we discovered is every single book was about one principle, and you could distill it down. And as we were going through, I started building these affirmations, words that would inspire me to do the right things in business. And after about 2 or 3 years, it turned into 52 wealth principles, 52 affirmations that you could say to yourself every single day. And over time, you would build the greatest business for who you are. Now, depending on how many people you want to serve, that will dictate how much income you have. Does that make sense? Hands to the camera if we grasp. Your income is in direct proportion to how many people you serve. So the wealth principles are important. We tackle them 1 week at a time. We tackle each wealth principle 1 week at a time for a reason, because you can only focus on one thing at a time. That's another wealth principle for further down the road. But one thing in your business each week, if tackled appropriately, if measured, sized up, and attacked aggressively, the next week you won't have to do it. Hands to the camera if we understand the concept of building business assets. Building assets and systems and processes and hiring people in our business. And so if we can each week handle one entire wealth principle for all of your business, some of you are starting and you're self-employed and you got one person in the business. Some of you are already millionaires who have multiple people in the business. And some of you are like me and Ron who have multi-millions are working towards Deca. So you have a large team, over 100 people involved in your business, where you have to expand in order to keep growing. Hands to the camera if you want to be there. If you know you're going to pass that. Excellent. Excellent. It comes with thinking appropriately. It comes with thinking one thought, and that's a million. Now for you, if you've already made your million, well, then you're making your million faster, because making a million is relative to speed, relative to time. If somebody takes 40 years to make $1 million, you know what we call them? You can put it in the chat if you already know. The answer is normal. Everybody will make $1 million over 40 years. You just got to show up long enough. The food requirement and housing requirement will force you to make that money. Does that make sense? Whether it comes from you or the government, you'll have to be a millionaire after 40 years on this planet. But nobody talks about those people. They don't live extravagant or exciting lives. They're not having huge, massive impact. Whereas the person who makes $1 million in a year, we see a different lifestyle. Is that fair to say? We think they're living a different lifestyle. What about, and write this down if it's the first time you've had this thought, the person who makes $1 million in a month? The person who makes $1 million in a month, they're living a different lifestyle. So think a million is relative to where you're at, as long as it's a stretch from where you are. And you may start with think $1 million in a quarter. Right, per quarter, then go to per month. Some of you are already considering $1 million in a week, $1 million in a day. We have billionaires who make more than $1 million per minute. There are already people on this planet making that income. Does that make sense? We know this to be true. So if somebody else can do it, that means you can do it. Step one is think $1 million. Step one is focus on what you're looking for. There is, in fact, the belief system is if you think about it, you'll attract it. Law of attraction. Hands to the camera if you've heard of law of attraction. Excellent. Excellent. We got a smart group in here. That's why I love this community. Every single one of you is growing, learning, listening, improving, taking action, expanding your knowledge, expanding your wealth. Wealth principle one is think a million. In order to think a million, you have to contemplate it. You have to spend time on the number. You have to visualize it. It could be $1 million in equity in a business. It could be $1 million of purchased assets or $1 million business. It could be $1 million in the bank. It could be $1 million in a brokerage account. It could be $1 million of crypto, right? This here represents $1 million in Bitcoin, assuming Bitcoin gets to be $50,000. So representation of $1 million in Bitcoin. Does that make sense? We're grasping how this all works. So it's $1 million of whatever you're looking for. So we're going to do an exercise. And I want to start with something reasonable. Well, relatively reasonable, because the rest of the world may not believe this is reasonable, but it's about what you believe. So think of the first million. If you have not attained $1 million yet, then we'll start with own $1 million. In real estate, there is a book called Millionaire Real Estate Investor, which I'm going to have Mike Shine talk about a little bit later. By the way, let's give Mike Shine a round of applause for always delivering on our books each week and for putting so much effort into putting them together with us. In this book, he talks about the 4 steps. There it is. Mike's got it on the screen right now. Elizabeth's got it on her screen. So when I bring all my books down to Tampa, I'll have it on my screen too. Jen, Robert, awesome. Give yourselves a round of applause. What a powerful community has the book already. The question is, have you read the book? Hands to the camera if you've already read it. Excellent, excellent, excellent. This is a good group. So then you know the 4 steps to becoming a millionaire. Step 1, think $1 million, which means visualize your million. Step 2, buy $1 million or build $1 million. Then step 3 is $1 million in equity, $1 million net worth, $1 million in worth. Then step 4 is $1 million in income. Earn $1 million. Step 4, earn $1 million. That's right, Mike, 10x. And so for most people, they look at step 4 and say, well, if you're a millionaire, you earn $1 million. And they get scared of the concept of earning $1 million because it's step 4. They're skipping steps. Hands to the camera if you've ever experienced that feeling of, wow, like going from what I'm earning now to earning $1 million seems impossible. But imagine if first all you had to do was buy $1 million or build $1 million real estate business or any kind of business, and then get equity in that business, increase the value of the already existing business, and then increase that business to the point where it actually earns $1 million. That can take a few years. That's a process. It's no longer trying to jump from, I want to go to space, to suddenly owning a spaceship and going. It's build a team, get the money, build a spaceship, then go. Does that make sense? Excellent. In order to get to the moon, you've got to build the apparatus, and the apparatus is your business. The team is what builds the business. So you first are acquiring a team. The only way to get these people is to first be thinking on the $1 million level. The only way to acquire and bring about and attract a team is you've got to think $1 million, right? This year I talked to Darina and we're aiming at $1 million a month. No, would we ever hit $1 million a month? No. Well, technically me and Ron hit it 1 month. So give Ron a round of applause. We've hit it. Actually, we've bought over $1 million in a couple of months, and we've earned over $1 million. We've gone to equity in over $1 million a couple of months, but we're looking at this year, $1 million a month. So we're using 12 different strategies to bring in $1 million. A few of them overlap. A few of them. So I'll have some months with no millions and then a few months with like 3-4 millions. Is that okay? It's averages out. Our friend Patrick is probably going to nail the same thing in one deal. Right? Patrick's going to nail about 10 to 12 million in equity in one shot. The beauty of real estate, the beauty of thinking big enough, thinking big. So before we dive into this a little bit further, I want to do a little exercise. So the first thing you think about when you think of $1 million, write down the first emotion you have. When you think of earning $1 million, the first emotion that comes to your mind. And don't be ashamed of it. Don't worry about what it is. But the first thought that comes to your mind about earning $1 million, I want you to drop it in the chat. And if it's negative, don't worry about it. We're not judging. We're gonna fix it anyway. And if it's positive, cool. High fives. All right, so like drop it in the chat. Work harder. Excellent. Excellent. Very common. Feels nice. Freedom. Doable. Excitement. Security. Happiness. Freedom. Excellent. Excitement. Fear. There you go. Gratitude. Accomplishment. Beach. Relief. Tense. Excellent. This is all real. How will I make 2 million? I love it. Accomplished. Excitement. Power. Hands to the camera if you can relate to one of these or a few of these. It's just the beginning. Exactly. Exactly. Possible. Excellent. We all have different thoughts and different feelings, some more dangerous than others. By looking, bliss, I like it. Family is great. Yes. By looking at the list, hands to the camera if you can already identify the ones that are probably hurting you. Excellent. Excellent. And for the people who typed those, hands to the camera if you already knew. Yes. It's crazy, right? And for the people who know a million's coming to them this year, hands to the camera if you felt that when you typed it. Excellent. And now for everybody who's reading in the chat, for the people who had positive comments, hands to the camera if you believe that they're going to get what they believe that they're going to get. So it's interesting because we also agree that they're the same as us, right? They bleed, they breathe, they eat, they sleep. Same amount of hours a day, relatively so. So what makes them different is simply their thoughts. It is as simple as I know that this is going to happen for me and I will do whatever it takes to get there. Plain and simple, as long as it's legal, moral, and ethical. I want to make sure I always say that. But one day I don't say it. Someone's like, well, he told me to do whatever it takes. As long as it's legal, moral, and ethical. Think a million. Think a million. Now, if you had a thought that you didn't think was empowering, write down all the positive thoughts that people wrote down. So look at the chat and grab those thoughts, grab those positive thoughts. And if you saw somebody put out a thought that you thought was even more empowering than the thought that you had, grab those too. Go on and steal somebody else's positive thoughts. We're in a world of help, concern, creation, supporting each other. So if you find somebody has a better mindset than you, do not do what a normal person does. A normal person will feel smaller next to that person, right? When somebody else like, oh my God, they got bigger goals than me. Like the normal person will feel smaller next to them. You're an alchemist. Think outside the box. When you see somebody with a bigger goal or a more positive frame of thought, adapt it. Say, thank you for sharing. I'm going to use that now. Because all that does is inspire the person who said it to use it more often. Does that make sense? It will scare small minds, but it will empower people who are going there. It will empower the people who want to be with us, the people who are looking to get to that next level. So if you're one of those people who's proud of the things that you already said, say them more. We appreciate you. And if you're one of those people who saw somebody with a more powerful mindset, adopt it. It's okay to change. I'm not asking for you to change the core of who you are. I'm asking you to change into the person you want to be, to just jump into it. Be okay with those thoughts. Be okay with the concept that you can do absolutely anything as long as you focus on it long and hard, as long as you decide you're worthy of it, as long as you decide it's a worthy goal. This is making sense so far, yes? We understand that it's okay to change our mindset. So when we think of a million now, I want you to focus on the words that we saw: possible, easy, happening, abundance, helps family, right? Like positive family, spending time with family. And I know I saw some of my grinders, the high D personalities, they typed in things like hard work, grind. Ladies and gentlemen, the hard work is changing this. The only hard work is finding yourself people who you want to see do so well that you're willing to train them, that you're willing to bring them in on your deal, that you're willing to bring them in on your business that you're building. That's the hard work. The hard work is opening yourself to the potential that somebody could let you down, but also committing to that person so hard that you know they never would. Making sure the hard work really is building your team. The hard work really is supporting the people around you. I had this conversation with somebody in our mentorship this week, and it reminds me that I think everybody here could use hearing it. The hardest work, and actually, since he's not on here, so everybody knows who Saeed is. Saeed is doing phenomenal. Saeed is in an additional coaching program. He and I coach one-on-one. And he told me, he said, man, like Gary Vee and Grant Cardone, they got these two different philosophies, right? Like they're like grind, 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 grind. And Walter, you're like, no, don't grind, right? Just go get it, right? Just receive it. Like build a team and receive. And they're saying grind. And I told him, I was like, their grind is building people. That's their grind. Their grind is inspiring people. They're like, look at what all they do. All you see them do is go out and inspire, go out and empower, go out and teach and train. That's their grind, right? Like that's really all they're doing. If you're not doing their grind, you're not grinding. You're probably half asleep at the wheel. If you're just working hard, you're not hitting the goal. You're not getting to the point. You work hard until you discover the grind. You work hard until you figure out what true grinding is. You work hard until you figure out what true work is. Does that make sense? I'll admit it. Sometimes what we do here on Saturdays, what we do here throughout the rest of the week, it could be a grind. Am I going to say the right thing when I figure out the right piece that's going to move people forward? It can be absolutely terrifying and absolutely exciting because so far I've nailed it every time. Does that make sense? And so after a little while, you realize it doesn't matter what you think, it's about what you produce. Can you produce something that will inspire other people to go out and be their very best? And if you can do that, then those people will create something amazing. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. And with the wealth principles, they were designed in such a way that you can't help but be successful as long as you commit to yourself each week to do one thing, focus on this one principle. And so this one principle is a little different from some of the others, although it lines up with some of the more visual ones. You're going to be thinking about $1 million. What does $1 million mean to you? Now you're going to have two pieces, pain and gain. What does it mean if you don't make it? Find some crazy thing that, psychs you up. So if I don't make the $1 million, this happens, and that's bad. And then find some amazing thing on the other side that gets you so amped up, so excited about making $1 million. And again, I want to qualify. This $1 million could be earning it. It could be buying it. It could be building it. It could be net worth of it. It could be done in a matter of a year, 2 years, 3 months, a month, a day, an hour. It depends on where you're at in the game, where you're comfortable in your mind. I'm just asking for you to take the first step there. You don't have to jump 4 steps ahead because you see somebody else doing that. You go to the one that you have never done before, but is reasonable where you can actually nail it. Does that make sense? So write this down. You got about 15 seconds. Write down both the dollar amount, the time frame, and how you want it earned. What is the most reasonable step? And it's okay that this is the first step. We'll do this again next year. Or if you crush it earlier, we'll do it again next month. I'm okay with it. If you find that you crush your goals too fast, welcome to the club. It's okay. There's a few of us in here already. It's not a set rule. It's just a bare minimum that this will happen no matter what. No matter what. This is a requirement in your life. You have to look at it that way. You have to look at it like a necessity. There's a phrase I read a few years ago. It said necessity is relative. When I realized that, I could set necessity wherever I wanted. I could just decide that, well, if I felt like I could die if I didn't make $1 million, I guess I'll go make $1 million. Does that make sense? Necessity is relative. Set it so it's the like, man, world ends if this goal doesn't happen. World ends. Don't let that happen. I'm on watch. I want to make sure we're all living. So crush the goal. Everybody has it written down? Hands to the camera. Reasonable, but massive stretch for everyone. Yes. It's bigger than something you've done before. Excellent. Excellent. Good job. Now, as you're looking at it, I want you to focus on one thing. Focus on the fact that it's possible. Focus on the fact that you've already got it. Focus on the fact that some other people have done it. And so if they have, then you will identify how to do it yourself. In fact, focus on the fact that you're already attracting the right mentors into your life. You're already attracting the right conversations into your life, the right partnerships, the right people. And now visualize how easy it all is. It's very easy to bring into your life the people who can help you get to that goal. And as I discussed with Dorina this morning, it's not about doing the work. It's about attracting the people who will do the work. Everybody comes to us and says, how do I do this? How do I do this? Don't focus on the how. The rest of the world is focused on the how. I guarantee you, if you went up to somebody and said, hey, I need this done, they'll figure out the how. But being the person who can go and tell other people or ask from other people what's getting done, that's the magic. The organizer of a dream, the organizer of a thought, the organizer of a building or a business or a complex, that organizer is the rare piece in society. The person who can trust other people to bring them in. How many people have heard of a friend of theirs who has an idea, but they're afraid to share it because somebody might steal it? So dumb. Nobody has the balls to go do the work.
Mara.
Right, yeah, but he's a good friend of ours, right? So like there's so many people out there who are like, I got this idea. And it's like, bro, like your idea ain't worth shit if you don't tell somebody about it. Like you got to go and build the team because like it's the team builder who makes the money, not the idea haver. How many times we've seen billionaires go build teams around this idea and then later on somebody says, well, it was my idea and they stole it. Hands to the camera, you heard that, right? Bro, it's not the idea haver that matters. It's the team builder around the idea that makes all the money. The idea haver is just like everybody. Who here has ideas? Who knows they've had millions of billion-dollar ideas, million-dollar ideas? Yeah, every day pops in. Oh, that's the one. It doesn't matter which one you choose. It's the one that you set hook onto and inform other people about that becomes your million-dollar strategy, that becomes your million-dollar business. Thank you, Dave. You know what I've discovered? The people in this community are too fucking smart. Too smart. You really are. Too talented. Too smart, too intelligent, too talented to be successful. You've almost got to cut out all those different options and just decide on one. Hands to the camera if you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. That's because you're one of them. You're too smart. You believe in yourself too much, too ambitious, too many ideas. But if you cut out all of the ideas and just went with one and just decide this is the only thing I will do for the next 10 years, there's nothing that can stop you from becoming a multi-millionaire in that industry. Nothing can stop you because you're focused. Life and the universe reward focus. What you focus on expands, right? You've heard me say it before. What you think about, you bring about. The more intention put on one single thought, the more quickly that thought happens. There's a reason that we brand 100 Millionaires so powerfully, that people in this community are wearing it. Put the brand up to the screen if you're wearing it. There we go. Dave, Dorina, Terry Wager's got the shirt on. Absolutely. There's a reason we brand it so powerfully because it's important to us. And if we can get enough people thinking about building their own team of 100 millionaires, that team will happen. It will exist because thought is a powerful thing. What you have here in your head is a powerful tool. It generates so many thoughts, so much energy, and it can create out of nothing by thinking, by sharing, by communicating. I just finished a book called Life 3.0, Ron gave me, and it talks so much about the power of the mind and what intelligence truly is and the ability to communicate with each other. And I had a very clear realization is if I simply could inspire people, this community, to think a million, then nothing could stop them from attaining the million. Does that make sense? I don't care what you think, whether it's, oh my God, I can't believe I make $1 million so easily. Or, oh man, I can't stop making $1 million. Like either way, right? Like, or a million comes to me and it's abundant and it's fun, or man, a million is the most rewarding thing I've ever done. Like, I don't care what you're thinking about a million, as long as you're thinking a million and that it's coming to you. Does that make sense? I don't mind if it happens every minute. I don't mind if it happens every second. You become a billionaire. Then I'm going to ask, well, how do I get in? I want to invest in that business. Give me some knowledge, give me some stock, give me some shares. So there's one thought that sets up the rest of this year. The rest of the 52 wealth principles hinge on your ability to take this principle seriously all week long, focusing, putting it all over your house, building it into your space. We had a conversation with Fred last week, and he said, willpower is stronger. The environment is stronger than willpower. It's out of the book, The One Thing by Gary Keller. Willpower is not as strong as environment. Environment is stronger than willpower. And so if you can create an environment in your own space, in your workspace, in your car, in your house, on your cell phone, right? On your cell phone, the thing that you're looking at all the time, that's really your house. Hold on, iPhone's such a pain in the butt. It doesn't allow you to just do this, right? Create in your atmosphere, the place you're seeing all the time, something that empowers you, right? Get your $1 million goal up there. What $1 million is just $10,000 a month, a little less than $10,000 a month. Mike's got his, right? He's got his background. When I wrote this book, I wrote it with two intentions. There's two intentions in here. If you read the first chapter, I don't talk about getting the deal yet. In the first chapter, it's all mindset. I'm talking about time and money. And this sets you up for a series. This is a series of two other books. And those other books are coming out. I'm busting my butt to make sure that they exist. But it's a series working towards, if you have too much time, do this. If you have too much money, do this. Hands to the camera, for right now, too much time is the issue. Excellent. And this is the book for you. This one's all about people with too much time. The other books will be more about people who have too much money sitting in their situation. Hands to the camera if you want to move to that group. You want to move over to that group. Yes. So even though the title is Get the Deal, it's really a mindset book about how to get that problem of too much money. And the only way to do that in real estate is too many deals. You just got to get too many deals. And that's what we're building. The ability to have access to too much real estate, too many real estate deals at a discount. So think $1 million. Hands to the camera if you already feel like you're thinking $1 million right now. Hands to the camera if you can feel it. And it's something you haven't thought about in a little while, or maybe even the first time. And it feels freaking good. Yes. Thinking $1 million is a great experience. Imagine if you did this every day. Hands to the camera if you've heard you should meditate daily. Daily, this is my meditation. How do I get a raise today? How do I improve? How do I create my mission? I can't walk anywhere in my house without thinking about this. I can't. It's impossible because I got this everywhere. My house is insane. My house is nuts. It's this or this shirt, right? The point is not to work, it's to generate income. Soon it'll be names on deeds. By the way, if you were at the event on Thursday, you are getting a t-shirt, but trust me, you're getting it when I get it. So it's still in the process of being created, being printed, being mailed to us, then we'll mail it out to you. But I will wear it a day before you get it. So it is coming. Names on deeds. That's the benefit. I made up the words. I get to wear the shirt first. Give yourselves a round of applause for being there Thursday, though. 100 millionaires is the secret to you earning any amount of millions that you're looking for. Any amount of millions that you are looking for starts with surrounding yourself with other millionaires. Surround yourself with people just like you going to where you want to be, especially if they were the people who in the chat wrote something you were inspired by, especially if their mindset's already a little tighter than what you felt yours was. Surround yourself with a community, surround yourself with people who are going to where you want to go. $1 million is just the beginning. In fact, a few of you said that. And I love that you already acknowledged that $1 million is just the beginning. It's the first step. but you've got to think it. You've got to believe it. You've got to understand it's possible. I remember before I adopted the thought, $1 million terrified me. I was afraid to go there. I remember when I wrote down $1 billion for the first time because I'd never done it before. I'd never written down the numeric value of $1 billion. Hands to the camera if you know what I'm talking about. Never even considered it, never even went there. And then when I broke down how to do it, when I broke down how many years it would take if I just doubled my income, doubled my net worth, how many years it would take to get to $1 billion, I realized I was only 12 years away. Because I've been doing it for so long, because I've been going after the million for so long, that the billion wasn't so big. So wherever you're at some point, $1 million will seem small to you. In fact, I told Darina yesterday, as we were building out the different business models within our company, the different avenues, the streams of income, I told her, I was like, if it doesn't make $1 million, I'm not thinking about it. Like, it's not worth my time. If it doesn't earn $1 million, if it couldn't earn $1 million a month, I don't even want to consider it. Like, why talk about it? Does that make sense? It may sound extreme, but to me, where I'm at with the players I'm playing with, and I see these guys doing it, I'm like, dude, like, if it doesn't make that, like, next thought, because we got a lot of thoughts. Hands to the camera if you know, you got a lot of thoughts. You got a lot of ideas. When you start putting them through the qualifier of, can this business make $1 million, tightens things up, makes you think a little differently. In fact, that's Wealth Principle 2. We're going to be talking about it next week. Hands to the camera if you're excited about next week, Wealth Principle 2. Choose a business that can make $1 million. Excellent. Mike Shine, it's about that time. Let's bring out the book, Millionaire Real Estate Investor by Gary Keller. Let's give Mike Shine a round of applause, the keeper of our books.
No, thanks, Walter. So, wow, this book is amazing because not only is it entertaining to read, but it also is a manual that you can refer back to 1,000,000 times and still not get everything out of it. No pun intended, 1,000,000 times. But it's where we get the 4 steps, and obviously today's lesson is Think a Million, and it's just an amazing book. It'll teach you everything. You could probably, not to get rid of the other 51 books, but if you wanted to just succeed, you could just read this book, carry it with you, live it. I have it on Audible. I also have the regular book, and you would get to the millionaire status and probably way beyond it. Gary Keller of Keller Williams is amazing. He's the one who wrote The One Thing. It's just such a good book. I can't say it. It just starts off. It deflates all the myths about real estate being difficult. It's not difficult. We can all do it. You don't have to be Elon Musk to succeed in real estate. And then it goes through the Think a Million. And while I was reviewing it, I noticed that there are a lot of things that Walter refers to, like, for example, the track your net worth. That's in there. You know, just things like that. There's just a million little pieces of advice from someone. Gary Keller, not only Keller Williams, but he owns a ton of real estate. So I highly recommend it. Buy it, keep it with you, live it. It's a great book.
Let's give Mike Shine a round of applause. Great job on that book, Mike. You're right. It is the simplest path to becoming a millionaire through real estate. And it's fun to listen to. It's got simple philosophies. And this principle alone, if you just thought $1 million, who knows that now that you've had the experience and thought $1 million, you will become a millionaire? Who knows? It's simply that thought. Now, the secret is every day you wake up and you remind yourself, $1 million, going after it. Never, ever ask yourself, how will I do this? Just say, I am doing it. Just say, I am doing it. I am doing it. I am doing it. And if you say that enough around the right people, they'll explain how to do it. Does that make sense? Just be open and honest. Be like, oh, I actually don't know how. I just know I'm doing it. And be open to learning how. Be open to listening on how. Does that make sense? Connecting with the right people and moving forward. And in real estate, it's very easy. You just buy more real estate. Just buy real estate, that cash flow, so you can hold on to it for the long term. When we talk about cash flow, we're talking about money on top of money. Think $1 million, right? So Ron and I are very, very close to earning $1 million just in our rental portfolio each year, which is crazy to us because, rents are one of those things that seem small. They're small dollar amounts. But when you stack up enough of them, they're getting to that point. I think we're at somewhere around a little over $500,000 from rents every year. So when we double this year, like we're way past it. We're way past it. And it's just so crazy to think about because I remember when I was happy that I was earning $18,000 a month in rents, $18,000 a year in rents. Landlords, can you relate to that? You know what I'm talking about? I mean, some of my building, like on my first building, I was happy I was making $11,000 a year. So it really just, it grows over time. It expands. It gets to something exciting, but it doesn't happen overnight. You got to think about it. You got to dream about it. You got to want it bad enough. You got to surround yourself with this community. And you can absolutely go to other communities. There are others out there. They're just different. Is like bring them in, right? Connect, bring those communities together, merge them. The idea of Alchemist Nation is to build the best community towards a singular focus, which is millionaire status. Most of the other communities I've been a part of are just, hey, let's increase income and it's random. Hey, let's, buy real estate and it's random. This one's very specific. We're very, very specifically geared towards building you your multi-million-dollar net worth, building you a multi-million-dollar income. It's very specific, building a team of 100 millionaires. We have a very specific strategy around it. Surrounding yourself with a client base of 100 millionaires guarantees your success. Simple enough to understand, yes? It's a crazy process, a crazy principle. And in a lot of ways, you are my future 100 millionaires. Me and Dorina, we talk about it. We could just go grab millionaires and utilize them for the cause, but we also have the future millionaires that we're building. And she asked, which one should we do? And I said, both. Why not both? We can go grab our existing millionaires and build our future millionaires because you're proof that it works. You're proof that the system works, that people can change, people can have more, people can become what they think about by simply deciding. Dorina asked me a powerful question yesterday. Who wants to know what her question was? She said, but how do you decide? How do you decide? How do you decide what to do? How do you decide what you want? And the simple answer was just decide. Like anything you pick will be good. It doesn't really matter. Just pick and go and mess up. That's fine. And for people like Dorina who are high S personalities, high I personalities, they don't want to hear that. They want us just tell me what the right answer is. The world was not designed that way. The world was, then you'll see the D's, right? The high D personalities are like, they're just moving. They make decisions. They mess up. They keep moving. They don't care. And we see high Ds become successful in life. Fair to say, yes? You got two options. Either follow a high D and just do whatever they're doing, or learn to just be okay with whatever happens, make the decision quickly and move fast. So either you learn to make decisions or you outsource decision-making to somebody who you know is going to where you want to go. Does that make sense? Ron and I have built our business on that relationship. When it comes to decision-making on new things that are scary, big, and we've never done it before, Ron will analyze everything and then analyze everything. And then when he's done analyzing everything, he'll make sure that he analyzes everything. And until I come along and I say, Ron, what's your synopsis? He says this or this. And I say, okay, let's go. He will keep analyzing everything. And it's the power to our team because I will not analyze on the level that he does. I will not research. I will not build the deep relationships with our lenders the way that he will, or the deep understanding of what they need. I don't know what my accountant needs each year. He does, right? Like, I don't know what the attorneys need. He's like, I got it. Don't worry. I don't know what the lenders need, but he takes the time to learn all of those pieces. I just know that when he gives me two options, I know which one to take. And I'm not always right. Fair to say, Ron, have I made some mistakes in the company?
Yeah, let me think about it.
You don't have to think too hard. But we're still here. We're still here. And we, at today's point, just in real estate alone, it's a $5.5 million company. Just in the hard assets. Right? Actually, no, it's more than that, because they didn't, when they did that appraisal, they didn't evaluate our other buildings. We didn't refinance. We're probably closer to a six something million company. Just from making a bunch of decisions. It's all I've ever done. Made decisions. Just decided. Committed, ran. Committed, ran. And I utilized someone who's very smart, someone who's smarter than me in a lot of aspects to qualify. Built a mastermind, right? I mastermind with these coaches. I mastermind with Mike, with Terry, with Mitch, with Doug, and Ryan, when we just bounce ideas. So I go to people who are smarter than me, pitch what we're doing, and then I make a decision and I run and keep running. Go ahead, Terry.
Yeah, when we're talking about making a decision, you were joking about Ron analyzing the stuff. One of the things that's different that Ron does is when he's analyzing, he's looking at the data, he comes up with the answer. That's not the problem. The problem is after you have the facts of the answer and then you start waffling on the what ifs, or what I call the dreaded what ifs, and try to guess what's going to happen based on the decision. That's where people make the biggest mistake. You don't want to try to figure out what's going to happen from the data. You want to go find out. That's where the decision is. You make the decision, you commit to the decision, then you find out what happens after you take the action on the decision.
Exactly. Let's give Dr. Terry Wager a round of applause. I do want to point out that the mentorship, hands to the camera if you've already been in the part of the mentorship, have been through it, are graduates, or are in it at the moment. Excellent. The mentorship that we provide is designed around becoming a millionaire. It is not for people who are happy with their current lives. This is for people who want more. It is something that I'm deeply passionate about. I believe we've built the greatest product that I have ever purchased or sold or been a part of in my entire life. And I've paid a lot of money in coaching. I have been all over the country. I have read over 300 books. I've been in so many events. And what I've discovered, I've listened to podcasts, and what I've discovered is that if you build something amazing and then you give it at an amazing deal where anybody can afford it, if they see the value in it, then over time it will adapt to become even better. And fortunately, we can now say we've been running this program for over a year now. We've pumped out over 80 graduates. Give yourselves a round of applause. Over 80 graduates who are future millionaires. And when people say, oh, well, it's only 2 months, what about after that? Do you still stay in touch with the community? Hands to the camera if I still stay in touch with the community. Absolutely. You're important. This is just the first step. The mentorship was it was like the inauguration. It was the getting in. It was the, are you cool enough to hang with us? Are you serious about building your wealth? Do you really care about other people? Do you really care about your business? Do you care about your family? Do you really think that money is easy for you? Do you believe that it's possible? That signing up for the mentorship, going through the 8 weeks, building the habits, reading the books, sitting with the coaches, it's really just qualifying how serious you are about your success. And then once you're in, we do all of the other trainings for you. Those are things I'll do no matter what. I'll outsource. I'll bring on coaches who are better than me, right? Dr. Terry's now teaching Generate Income, which this is all he does. He generates income. We have Brett Reed, who is teaching how to work with investors. He's teaching how to buy real estate and cash flow, because Brett Reed is a broker who buys real estate. He's teaching people how to buy real estate. We have Kevin Pereira and Elizabeth, who do our wholesaling mastermind on Mondays. They're actual wholesalers, crushing the systems, calling every week. They're better than I am. We have a team around us that will continue to grow and expand so that you have access to more and more training. The mentorship is just the beginning. If you haven't signed up for the mentorship yet, let me let me remind you that every day that goes by that you're not getting the right coaching, that you're not surrounding the right community, that you're not in with the right mentors, you're missing out on life. You're missing out on what you're capable of. If you want to be
That's funny. Did it add a clock ticking when somebody freezes?
I don't know.
That was cool.
I think that was somebody's blinker, but it was funny.
This is why he made Dorinda.
Just means he's a
co-host.
ticking time bomb, ready to
There he is. He's back. Welcome back, Walter.
Give me a round of applause. So if you are interested in the mentorship, reach out to Dorina. Dorina, can you drop your link in the chat below? Or if you are an affiliate in the program, hands to the camera if you are an affiliate and you believe in, and you would sit with somebody and let them know about your experience, please drop your links in the chat below. So everybody in here has the ability to earn income from selling the mentorship. And so if you have questions, if you believe that this could be for you, that if 8 weeks with me and my other coaches could be empowering and get you to the next level, creating the habits that'll become millionaire habits for you, then ask somebody who's already in the program. Ask somebody who's done it, who's experienced, who is happy and willing to share what they've learned. Hands to the camera if that sounds like the best way to get involved in anything. Talk to people who've already done it. Get positive reviews. Excellent. For everybody in the mentorship, let's give you a round of applause. I love seeing your dedication. I love seeing your successes. The time we get to hang out each week is so meaningful to me. Seeing you grow, whether it's in a text or it's in a video or just watching you on your Facebook where I'm seeing you do the lives, or seeing you share photos of you and your family or your successes, it means so much to me. You have no idea. When somebody asks me, I get this often, they say, well, how do I help you? What can I do for you? My answer is become successful. Just do it. Just go be successful. Then come back and ask me. That's all I want right now. I first need your success. After you're successful, we'll talk. I'm willing to delay. I'm willing to delay what you owe me until you're capable of getting what I'm looking for. Does that make sense? For now, the biggest thing you can do for me is build your business. Become successful. Take the principles in. I will be here for a long time. I'll collect later. But for right now, you're the priority. We got to strengthen you up. We got to build up your financial situation. We've got to build up your confidence. We got to build your business, build your team, build their confidence, build their income. One day when you're a player, we'll have the conversation. We'll build something together. But right now, your team is the top priority. You are the top priority. Does that make sense? I'm in it for the long run. I'm in it for the long haul. That's what this group is about. I want to see you on a level of success you never thought was possible. And then when you get there, say, hey, I made it. What are you working on? Does that make sense? Because then you'll understand the conversation better. You'll understand exactly where I'm coming from. You'll understand exactly why I'm willing to wait to get you to that point, why I'm willing to put so much effort into you, why the coaches are willing to put so much effort into you to get you to that point. Because until you're there, you won't be able to take the free time to take on this mission. We've got to get you there first. Build your wealth now. Commit to yourself, commit to your family, commit to your community. When I started this, it was all about Fall River. It was all about building my community. Now we're nationwide because I couldn't just keep it local. I had to take care of other people. There were other people who deserve this. You're one of those. We're in it with you. I want to open it now to the coaches. We do have a mastermind at 12 o'clock. So if you are in the mastermind at 12 o'clock, please make sure you grab some food. And please make sure you know what your one thing is, know what your big question is. For everybody in the mentorship, we will be recording the mastermind so you get to watch and listen to what everybody else is going through and experiencing. And you can be there on Facebook Live. But for the mastermind members, you will be asking questions. So make sure you have your big question. Let me open it up to the coaches. If Ryan McDermott's on here, I know he's usually the one who's got to jump off first. And if Ryan's not here, we'll shame him with a boo. I don't see him. Doug McGurk, you're up next.
Right on. Well, first of all, I apologize. I had to bow out just for a moment because I had to spend one bit of conversation on an important call. But one of the things I posted in here was the idea of you don't have to get it right, you just have to get it going, right? You just decide and fly. You build the plane while you're flying it, and decision is from the word decidere, which means to cut off. And then once you cut off all other options, you're able to really focus and do the work. And I read a book, I forget the name of the book. I read it years ago, and it was about rose bushes. And it talked about how in order to create this incredible rose bush, you had to clip it. You had to cut off all of the other little pieces so that the energy could be focused into where the best rose was, where the best piece was, and that was where the energy would go. And we got to remember, we can't chase two bunnies at the same time. So if we're really focused on prune that rose bush, if we're able to focus on one thing at one time, be super present with your loved ones in that moment. That's all you do. When you're working on your business, be super present with your business right there. That's the only thing you do. And then you'll find you're going to get extraordinary results way, way quicker. And that's all I have to say about that.
Let's give Doug McGurk a round of applause. A great take. And I love that, Doug, now you're promoting your new training course, The Heart on NLP. Hands to the camera if you're familiar with neuro-linguistic programming, have heard of it before. Excellent. Excellent. So NLP is a useful tool for moving people forward. It's also a useful tool for moving yourself forward. The first person that we influence in NLP is ourselves. And then we move on to influencing others. First, you have to inspire yourself to be confident. You have to inspire yourself to have the right frame at all times. And then you can move on to inspiring one-on-one and then one-on-many. And there is a process to it. And Doug is a master of the process. So let's give Doug one more round of applause. The Heart on NLP. And if you want a conversation with Doug, you can drop it. Doug will drop his link in the chat. I do want to emphasize, please, no selling in the chat. I offer the opportunity to our coaches because they're here dedicating and donating their time for free. Our coaches are millionaires here to help you get to the next level. If you are not a millionaire and you have not talked to me personally, please acknowledge that the chat is designed just for them to add value to the people who are in this community. Does that make sense? We grasp that? Excellent. Thank you. Dr. Terry Wager, you're up.
Think a million is such an important concept. And like I was saying before, that idea of committing to your decision. I decided to become a doctor. I decided to get my doctorate about 8 years before I got the degree. Every day that I took action on that decision proved my decision. And it's a real important thing that I think about whenever I'm doing anything. Are my actions following through the decision I made? When we're really focused on what's next, that next right move, that's where we start to see people made the decision. And so we can talk all we want, but are we walking our talk? And that's the real important thing, I think, that goes with this thinking a million. We can think it all day, but if our walk is not following our talk or our thought, we're not doing it. So really commit to yourself and then follow through with the steps. Each step moving you closer toward your goal.
Let's give Dr. Terry a round of applause. That is a very clear principle, a very clear concept towards why it makes so much sense to first think about the million. 8 years. He knew what he was going after, but had to work towards it. Does that make sense? We grasp that? Awesome. Let's see. Where are my other coaches at? Mike Shine, you're up.
So I love this concept. I'm a strong believer in Esther Hicks that when you think something, it's immediately in the vortex. So it's already in your inner being. It just needs to appear out in reality. And so it's like magic. All you have to do is say, do affirmations, write it in your journal, however you want to do it, that you're a millionaire, and it's already going to happen. And I've seen it in my own life. It's amazing. It's like beautiful magic. So start today saying, I am a millionaire. And you'll see all things in the world, providence moves to, it'll all happen. It's like magic. That's all I got to say.
Let's give Mike a round of applause. And for more insights from Mike Shine, you've got to watch the 100 Millionaires podcast. Every week we jump on with Mike, Mitch Jorsky, and we just talk about what we're doing as millionaires, moving our wealth around, the mindset shifts. And it's watching it, listening to it is some of the most fun that I have each week. You know, being able to hang out with Mike and see what he's working on. And you get to hear some of our stocks that we're investing in. You get to hear some of our properties, our deals we're moving into. Because this is where we make the decisions. We just happen to record it and share that with you. So let's give Mike Shine again a round of applause for doing that, having that commitment each week. It can be intensive, you know, having that schedule, but we just love our time together. So it is a journey. I also like to bring on Darina Pagodina. Now that she's back, I'm going to capitalize on the opportunities. What would you say is your biggest takeaway for Think a Million?
Thank you. Yes, I took so many notes, and I think the most important one that stuck with me is that universe rewards focus. And by listening Signs of Getting Rich every Sunday, they talk about that if you have struggle of focusing on what you want, you don't really want it, because that should come easy to you every day. You wake up, you know what you want, and you focus on it, and universe helps you to get it. There is thinking stuff, and the universe thinks too. So if you align your thoughts with the universe, it will give you what you want. This is incredible. Like, all you need to do is to think, but think every day, write it down, whatever you're learning and way of perceiving the world is. You can think, you can say, you can write it down, but as long as you understand that it's possible and this is your focus, you will inspire people who will show you how to do it around you versus figuring out how you're going to do it yourself. No, just be the main magnet of that thought, and things will happen for you.
I like that. Give Doreen a round of applause. I like what she said. Be the main magnet around that thought. And you can see why I love spending time with her and just communicating with her, right? She's a very intelligent woman. And be the main magnet around that thought is the secret. They're not just saying think it and it will happen, but think it is the step to you opening your mouth and building your team. And I'm not saying do the work. I'm saying the work is building your team, inspiring them, being concerned for their success, being concerned for their outcome. That's the hard work. Can you make it in such a way that they're compensated? Can you keep them motivated? Can you make sure that they're gaining from being on your team? Can you build that? If you can build that, that's the hardest work, right? You don't have to pick up a single thing, but if your team is there and you know that they're not motivated, if you go and pick something up with everybody around, you'll have done your job. That's the work that matters. You will not see me go fix anything in my buildings if the camera's not rolling, right? Because it doesn't count if the team doesn't see it. It doesn't count if they don't see me there. If I just show up and do work, it does not matter. But if the team, if I can promote it and I can say, hey, look, I'm here, checking something out on my properties, and my team knows about it, now it matters. Does that make sense? So understanding the real work is being put in right now in this conversation. You took down some notes. Hands to the camera if you took down some notes, wrote down some things. Your biggest homework is now to go home and inspire your team. Let your team know. But before you do that, get confident on it. Believe it yourself. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, either way, you're right. You've heard Henry Ford said that, yes? One of the most true principles. It was actually one of the first things I ever wrote down when I realized that that was a principle of life. It was one of the first ones I wrote down and realized, wow, this is true. First, believe it. First, believe it. Spend the next 20 minutes, 30 minutes before you go reach out to your team, which, by the way, is your family, your spouse, your kids. Before you reach out to your team and you bring them on board, it can be your business partner. It can be your best friends. It could be people in this community. But first, believe it here. Inspire yourself here. Get to the point where you believe you're going to go do this. And then go and let your team know. Within the next hour, go and let your team know. Somebody in your team And if they're not the one that signs up, don't worry. That's just a yet. That's just a not yet. That's just a maybe. Right? Down the road, they'll be there. I know because everybody who said no to me when I first started this business now is asking for a job. Now is saying, hey, how do I get into that? Hey, can I go in on a deal with you? I've now done deals with my biggest haters, the people who were against everything I did in the beginning. Wrote them checks, sent them money. It's possible that you will win over everybody that you want to win over at some point if you just stay in it long enough. So your step one, think a million. Wealth Principle 1, you've got it. Man, I wish I had this when I started. I wish I had this community when I started. I wish I had the mindset that I had when I started. I wish I had the mentors that I had when I started, the coaches, the books. I wish I knew they existed when I started. But when I started, I knew one thing. I knew that I was going to become a millionaire, and I didn't know how, but I knew I was going to do it. I was willing to put everything on the line for it because I'd already lost everything. I lost my relationship. I'd lost my identity. I'd lost my income. I'd lost my net worth. I lost my pride. And I knew that there was only one way to dig and build and scratch and claw my way out to get back to where I belonged. And it was to build the $1 million. It was to commit everything towards it. And when I focused on that, it took me about 3 years to finally find financial freedom and another 2 years to become a millionaire. 2 more years after that. So by the time I was 30, I was financially free. Hands to the camera if you want to be financially free. By the time I was 32, I was a millionaire. By the time I was 34, I was a multimillionaire. And I had built this community and I was focused on significance, on giving back, on helping other people. So when I started, I didn't care if it took me 5 years, if it took me 7 years, if it took me 15 years. I was sick and tired of being broke. I was sick and tired of not being able to pay my bills, not being able to do what a man's supposed to do, take care of his family, provide a future, provide answers, be able to give options to their friends and the people they care about. I was sick and tired of not being enough, of not feeling like I was enough. And I decided that one day, no matter how long it takes, I am going to become a millionaire. And when I do, I'm going to teach a lot of people because I know what it's like to be there. I don't want anybody else to feel that pain. I don't want you to suffer anymore. So focus on where we're going. You're going to become a millionaire if you aren't already. If you can't already see it in your head, it's coming. You're a millionaire, whether it's in the bank or not. We're moving towards it. We're building each other up. We're supporting each other. We're building our 100 millionaires. And once we've built 100 millionaires together, you're going to go build another 100 millionaires. And we'll keep pushing and we'll keep growing. And we'll keep doing the hard work, which is building a team, inspiring other people, keeping the vision tight, keeping it strong. And we're doing it because you're worthy, because you deserve something important to do in your life, because you deserve to make the world a better place, because you can, because you decide you can. Why else are we here anyway? I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. If you're in the mastermind, I'll see you today at 12 o'clock. We're about an hour away. And if you're not, watch us on the Facebook group, Alchemist Mentorship Facebook group. And I noticed somebody asked, how do you get into the group? It's $1,200 to get into the coaching program. The group is free. That's just something we do to stay in touch with everybody, to keep everybody engaged, to spend time with our people. So it's an exclusive group, and it is for people who've decided that they're serious about this. So if you're serious about this, give yourselves a round of applause. I appreciate each and every one of you. Some of you have already jumped into the program that we pitched on Thursday, the High Intensity Alchemist Combination Pack. I want to give you guys a round of applause too. Powerful group of people who are moving forward and said, there is nothing that will stop me from success this year. Cheers to your success.
Those who actually joined that program, the mastermind starts in February, but we invite you all today to experience what it's like this one on us. So jump in. I've already given you who are supposed to get the link, and I have a call with Michael because somehow he got lost in the shuffle last weekend, so we're going to jump on the phone.
You know, let's give Dr. Terry a round of applause. He had over 15 calls with everybody who is interested in learning more and setting up payment plans and figuring out how to do it. So great job, Terry. I know it was a lot of work. I know you want to go on vacation, and definitely a great job. Robert, you got a question?
So if we got in on that, or if we should offline with Terry or Dorina, like I haven't gotten a confirmation on the package or the transaction receipt or anything. So just curious. I know I got charged for it on the card.
You
but
got the
just
transaction.
curious.
Good enough.
What's that? We get you the information.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was just
Don't-
curious. I know
Yeah.
you were on vacation last week, but I just figured I got you guys here, so I just figured
We
I'd
got
ask. So this week isn't part of the actual mentoring or
No.
It's
the-
in addition to. It's
Okay.
added.
I
to.
actually was setting up with a local investor. I offline with Dr. Terry today, so it's not a big deal if you miss.
No,
today.
it is not a big deal.
No, that starts. It starts in February.
These are for you. If you don't have
If
the
you've got the
ability to
time,
take
you're welcome to join.
not you, that's you.
Well, no, I want to make the time, but like I'm meeting
good
up
for
with a
you.
local investor to
Yep.
move forward on some of my networking here at Detroit. So,
Robert, that's a big opportunity for you. Take the opportunity, and when you have the link already, so after that meeting, you can jump in. We go for about 3 to 4 hours. So we're
Awesome.
here, and it's just an added benefit for you.
Yep.
Let's give Chris Bazalian a round of applause. Let's give Wilbur
And
a round of
Wilbur.
applause. Our members joined already. Thank you guys for believing in yourselves. We're going to kick ass this year. Cheers to your success, whenever choice.
Always work with the best.
Best.
Work with the best.